Everyone wants to know about descent techniques, but in general, the paragliding community and instructors at large do an enormous disservice because they do not contextualize the space in which descent techniques live. Today, I'm going to bust a huge myth about these, and then if you wait till the end, I'm going to give you a secret descent technique that you've never heard of. Are you ready? Here we go.
See ya.
I'm paragliding!
See ya.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ari in the Air. Welcome back to the channel. Stoked you're here. I'm Ari. I teach high-level paragliding, and I'm the founder of the Paragliding Men's Group, where we help smart, adventurous men have badass, committed relationships with women who appreciate and support them and become the leaders and embody more of their authentic leadership in their relationships, their work, and their friendships. So if you're ready to drop the people-pleasing patterns and become the leader of fun, safety, and abundance in your home, be connected to like-minded pilots all over the world, use the link in the description below. This is the last cohort before the price goes up more than 30% in 2026. So if you apply, I'll reach out to you personally. So let's get into this discussion about descent techniques. One of Theo DeBlick's most popular videos is all about descent techniques. We're talking big ears. We're talking spirals. We're talking wing overs. How do you get down? How do you get down? The reason that I say that paragliding does a big disservice when they talk about descent techniques is the question typically comes from a fear, and the fear is never acknowledged. The fear is that, oh, if I'm in lift so strong, or if I'm in cloudsuck, how do I get down? How do I make the glider go down instead of up? The truth of the matter in paragliding is that paragliders go down the same way that they go up. That is, you fly into rising air to go up, and the real best way for you to go down in a paraglider is to get out of that rising air or into even sinking air, and then you can either just stay there casually or you can then apply a descent technique. How do I know that the descent technique conversation is not really working in our sport? Well, I have seen so many people come to my local site of Pine Mountain where we have amazing glass offs and the lift can last long after the sunset, who implement all kinds of descent techniques in the lift band. That's right. They pull big ears and they push the speed bar, or they spiral, or I've even seen beeline stalls, and I've seen people be blown back and have near misses because they don't fully understand this fundamental truth of paragliding, which is our aircrafts don't have a tail that allow us to induce a ton of pitch without increasing our Gs, right? We can make the glider go fast in a spiral, but it is so costly on the pilot and disorienting that it really is not a great descent technique in the broader context. So what you need to know about descent techniques is that paragliders go down the same way that they go up. If you want to go down, then you need to get out of the air that is rising first. This is why there are many videos of people in cloudsuck situations who try to spiral, try to use a descent technique, panic, lose their orientation, take some kind of huge pitch, surge, collapse, cravat, throw their reserve, and then have a 45-minute reserve ride where they're going up under their parachute to cloud base. This is terrifying, and I want to help you avoid this kind of thing. And all I can tell you is that the best way for you to move your paraglider is to use the speed bar and to stay on heading. So if you want to get away from a cloud, or if you want to get out of the lift band here in Central Oregon when you're soaring, you need to stay on the speed bar and stay directly into the wind and push through the lift until you find yourself way, way, way out in front. It might seem so much further out than you imagined, but you get so far out in front of the object that the lift then diminishes. And then at that point, pick your favorite descent technique, whether it's big ears and speed bar, whether it's the half collapse and the spiral in the other direction, which I think is probably the best descent technique, whether you can do a deep stall and a tail slide for 2,000 feet feet. Whether all you do is just sit there and circle until your glider comes down 1.5 meters per second, it really doesn't matter. What is important in the discussion that is currently not talked about enough is that you got to get your glider out of the lifting air. And in best case scenario, you get your glider into sinking air and then you stay there. So when I'm trying to go down in a competition setting, oftentimes in a competition task, we're going to land at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. when the thermals are absolutely firing. We're going to land in a big open field, which might be a trigger for a thermal. So how do you get down then? You just fight on your CCC glider and just spiral and spiral and spiral, or you throw your drogue chute to slow you down and you just spiral and spiral and spiral? No, that's not what I do. I fly around on the speed bar, keeping the LZ on glide until I hear the sync alarm. And when the sync alarm goes, mrrr, then I say right there. And I just do gentle turns like I'm thermaling. Mrrr. You just core the sink and core the sink and core the sink, core the sink, and you go down. Honestly, if you're in a totally flat area where you can land anywhere and you just core that sink to the ground, you'll land in very light wind or zeros. If you fight lift to get to the ground, then you will arrive to strong winds, punchy conditions, and at worst, a dust devil. So you don't want to get down if you have to fight in general, and you want to work with the atmosphere because you can't fight against it. You're a little butterfly. You're a speck of dust in the atmosphere. You have to realize this first before you let yourself off the ground. You are submitting so much of your choice to the atmosphere when you launch a paraglider in the first place. You have to realize this. Get your glider out of the rising air, get your glider into the sinking air, and then pick your poison on what your descent technique is. I highly recommend Tio's wonderful video about all of the different descent techniques. Doesn't recommend beeline stalls. I don't either. I really like the asymmetric collapse with the spiral to the other way. I think that's probably the best and gets a really high descent rate without having to have a drogue chute, without having to have all of these things. I use drogue chutes too. I carry them for emergency in my comp and cross-country kit. But in general, I try not to use it just because it can complicate my landings. So I'm going to leave you with this secret descent technique that if you've been in paragliding, if you're a professional tandem pilot, you've definitely heard of this, but it's really funny and kind of fun. And I don't recommend that anyone try it. I take no responsibility for you having a big blow up because of doing this, but it's something that my best friend does all the freaking time. And he's notorious for it in Oregon. So I'll leave you with my little secret descent technique video here. Thanks so much for watching. And like I said, this is your last chance to apply for the Paragliding Men's Group before the price goes up. If you're a man who has a wife, who has children, who has a business, and you really know that something beautiful is possible for you, and you want to build the skills, you want to have the authenticity to be yourself, and you want to be courageous, integrated, and have brotherhood, join us. It's an incredible place. We would love to have you. Links in the description below. If you apply, I'll reach out to you direct for a one-on-one conversation. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah, boy! This one's for you! Woo! The seagull! Yeah! Represent! The seagull! Okay, one more. Not a horseshoe. There it is. That's a deep seagull. Ha. There you have it, seagull dog.